Okay. Welcome everyone to our second installment of the new student and family engagement session. The focus of tonight's session will be on academic life at ESF. So we have some really wonderful panelists tonight. We have so many of them here who are going to talk to you kind of about the student experience, a little bit about their support resources and offices on campus. So feel free to put any questions in the chat. These are definitely people that your student will want to know when they start to get introduced to life at ESF. So definitely keep everybody in mind. This session will be recorded and posted to the new student page under Zoom sessions. So if you need to reference anything, that is where it will be. And we will add all of the subtitles and annotations and have this available to you as well after. So welcome everybody again. I'd like to start off tonight by just having our panelists quickly unmute and introduce themselves. Whoever would like to go first.
I'm going to go ahead and jump on since no one else did, although I froze as soon as I unmuted. There I am. Okay. Hey, y'all. My name is Erin Ticelli. I use she, her pronouns. I am one of the professional academic advisors on campus, and I serve the landscape architecture and environmental studies departments. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Menard. I'm the Associate Registrar.
Hi, folks. My name is Neil Abrams. I'm a professor in the Department of Chemistry. I teach general chemistry for students in the fall, along with my colleague, Mark Teese, who teaches survey of chemistry in the fall. I'm also someone who some of your students may have gotten emails from about a summer chemistry learning module, so I can answer questions about that. But I'm excited to meet our new class this fall.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Sirik, and I am the coordinator of the Public Speaking Lab. And I also teach the public speaking courses and one of the writing courses as well that typically juniors and seniors take. So welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tyler Dorholtz. I direct the Writing, Rhetoric, and Communications program. I'm also assistant professor, and I teach various courses from creative writing, digital storytelling, writing research in the humanities, and a few others. I also help coordinate the digital storytelling studio and work with the literary and arts magazine at ESF Unearthed. And welcome, we're excited for you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Papaleo. I am here tonight on behalf of Bethany Heaton Crawford. Both of us are access coordinators in the Center for Disability Resources at Syracuse University. So we do work with ESF students for any disability related accommodations. So any questions you may have about accessibility, please feel free to ask me.
Hi, my name is Jason Kohlbrunner, and I operate the digital storytelling studio with Tyler, and look forward to seeing all the students when they come.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terrence Cavanis. I'm the assistant director up at Cranberry Lake and an undergrad advisor in environmental biology for the environmental bio, wildlife science, and forest health majors. I do have to hop off the call a bit early, so I'll put some information in the chat if you're in those majors and have specific academic questions.
I'll piggyback on that. My name is Kit Sheehan. I'm also coming to you from Cranberry Lake right now. Up here, I'm the academic program coordinator, but on campus, I am also a professional advisor for the environmental biology department. And so students who have the majors of conservation bio, aquatic and fisheries science, as well as biotech would be coming in with me.
And I'll introduce myself. My name is Amelia Hoffman. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the Director of Student Success and Engagement. and I oversee some of the operations in the Academic Success Center. So that's what I'll be focusing on tonight. And we have a few other professionals in the chat who might be able to answer your questions about orientation or other kinds of things, but we're going to try to stay on topic tonight. But we'll make sure that we have their information available. So tonight we're going to talk about some registration information, kind of what your student needs to know, preparing for their academic journey, some of the academic support resources available to students, as well as some of our tips from our academic advisors as well. So these are kind of two tips that are general to any student who's coming in. So whether you are a first year student, whether you're a transfer student or an online student, non-traditional age student, there's two tips that I would recommend to kind of get you grounded in the ESF experience. So one is to seek support before you need it. You may have had an experience of not really needing to study before coming to ESF, or just really not needing to rely on others in an academic setting. So it's always good to check in with yourself about where am I at this point in the semester, and are there other resources that can help me be even more successful? But don't wait until the last minute to reach out for the help that you need. It's always better to be proactive and to get those resources ahead of time if you can. The other tip is to get engaged. There's so many different resources and opportunities on campus to get involved with some of the amazing professionals and faculty and staff here. There's a lot of other student clubs and organizations too that can really enhance your experience and help you build those relationships. So when you think about your academic life, don't just think about it from just one facet. There's so many different things that can help you make a meaningful college experience and help with the transition here. So there are also a couple of tips to help you thrive academically your first semester. These might seem really general. Sorry. And very different maybe than what you're used to during the pandemic. So it's really important that you try to go to class and plan some travel time. You may be used to going from class to class just down the hall, and that might not be the case anymore. You might be a commuter student, you might have to travel. So try to plan on that. Actively participate in your lectures. Try to be that student who really answers questions, sits kind of up as far as you can in the room, and don't be afraid to ask questions if you're confused. Try to set aside some time for homework and stick to it. So creating a good schedule for yourself is helpful. Time management is kind of the key to being a successful student. And if you need help with that, that's okay. This might be the first time you actually need to set up a system. So there are plenty of people who can help you do that. Pay attention to your health and mental health. College can be really stressful. So it's important to check in about where you're at and what resources you might need. You'll be introduced to a lot of different things here. So just try to squirrel some of that information away for when you might want to learn how to de-stress. And get to know your faculty. Your faculty are some of the most fantastic resources to you, and they're going to be the frontline people who can help you figure out what it is that you need in order to have a successful experience in their class. Your TAs or teaching assistants are also really helpful, and utilizing office hours is something that we encourage all students to do. Your academic advisors may also be a faculty member or could be a staff member. So just know that those people are available and will help you. And utilize your resources. There's tons of them available. We'll go through some of them tonight, but definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. So without further ado, I am going to pass the mic over to Beth Menard, who's going to talk a little bit about registration at ESF.
Great, thanks, Amelia. Again, welcome everybody. Congratulations on your admission. We're so excited you're going to be joining us soon. So pre-registration is actually done by my office over the summer based on any transfer credits that you might have. You will meet with your advisor during orientation, have time to make schedule changes. So you don't have to worry about it right now. And unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, we can't make schedule changes for you over the summer, but you'll have plenty of time and plenty of help during orientation. So don't worry about it. One less thing for you to deal with, right? We recommend that you carefully review your degree audit in your degree works, which you can find in your Banner student portal, to make sure that you've received all of your transfer credits. If you're missing credits or think they weren't applied correctly, please make sure you talk to the admissions office sooner rather than later, because we want to make sure that your schedule is accurate. They need to have official transcripts, so please request official transcripts from the College Board if you took advanced placement for International Baccalaureate, or any college that you may have received credits from while you're in high school. Thank you. Okay, so please contact, as I said, the Office of Admissions about your transfer credits, but also if you're thinking you want to change your major before you come to ESF, they will help you with that. And then we will do our best, depending on the timing, to make any adjustments to your schedule based on your new major. We will be making advisor assignments probably early to mid-August. Most advisors are not available during the summer. They're on 10-month appointments. So they're doing research. They're running our Cranberry Lake biological stations. They're up at the ranger school. They're doing a variety of things. So you will have an advisor. Their name will appear in the portal once the assignment has been made. And then you can make contact with them once you get to campus for orientation. There will be a full presentation that I will give you guys at orientation, which will help you figure out our registration system, because we're a little bit different than other schools in that our students actually register through Syracuse University's MySlice registration system. Since you can take classes there, we have you register on one system, and then it rolls over into your Banner portal and into your degree works audit. And there will also be orientation leaders and staff from my office that will be in the computer labs to help you make any of those necessary schedule changes at orientation.
Thank you, Beth, for that introduction to registration.
Yep, look forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah, Beth is a fantastic resource. So if you have any questions about transfer credits or credits over the summer, even though you can't make changes, the registrar's office is a great resource for students. So thank you so much for being here, Beth. So we're going to transition a little bit over to the different kinds of academic success resources that we have here. And you'll hear from some of the other professionals who run their centers. But here's just a brief overview and list of kind of all of the general academic support resources that are available to your student. So the Academic Success Center, or ASC, has in-person peer tutoring. There's 35 different subjects, but we do focus on kind of more traditional first and second year courses. All of our services are free and available to all students. We also do one-on-one academic coaching, and we host academic skill building workshops as well. You'll hear a little bit later from the Writing Resource Center. We all share the same platform so that you can easily sign up for sessions. So you can meet with a peer tutor or a professional and get the resources that you need. You'll also be hearing from our public speaking lab. And we'll also talk about the English Speakers of Other Languages Center, or ESOL. In the Academic Success Center, there's also drop-in math tutoring that's available pretty much Monday through Friday. So if your student struggles particularly in math or are taking maybe some math courses this fall, it's a great place for you to go get some a la carte service whenever you need it. We also want you to utilize faculty and TA office hours. Some of the TA office hours have been hosted in the ASC in the past, but you'll have to check your syllabus for kind of each individual course, but I would highly recommend utilizing those as well. And your academic advisors are going to be really excellent resources. They're kind of your go-to person, your liaison for your department, that you can just kind of talk about your goals and your aspirations and any concerns that you have. So outside of ESF and kind of outside of the main academic resources that you might think, we have some other stellar relationships. You'll also hear from our Syracuse University Center for Disability Resources. We shorten that to say CDR. So if you hear that, just know that we're pointing you in their direction. There's also the SU Physics Clinic. ESF has its own in-house counseling services office that is also free to students. You also might want to brush up on academic integrity and kind of what the expectations are for your students. We also have ESF student support through the Office of the Dean. So if there's other concerns that pop up, if there's a crisis that happens in your life and you need some support, that is a good place to go. There's also research assistance with the ESF and SU librarians. So they can help you with citations or getting research materials, and they're very helpful. And then AXS, which is one of our student honor societies, hosts test files, which is kind of a bank of old tests and quizzes to help students study from. So a little bit about peer tutoring. All of our courses are run by our peer tutors. So they have kind of course knowledge and they've taken the course before. So they have also other academic skills to help you navigate study strategies or time management. Tutoring is all free. And our new Academic Success Center is located in the basement of Moon, but it's also adjacent to so many other awesome resources. So you don't even have to go far to see all the other wonderful things that are available to you. And tutoring and most of our other academic resources won't start kind of right away. They'll start around the second week of classes when you've kind of finalized your schedule. So now I'm going to turn it over to Tyler Dorholt, who's going to talk about writing, rhetoric, and communication.
Great. Greetings all. So my name is Tyler, Director of Rhetoric Communication Program, which is part of the Vision Interdisciplinary Program. So writing and math are both part of the same division, separate departments. So we offer all.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
Can you hold on? Unfortunately, you're sounding a little bit like a robot. Would it be okay if kind of you exited and maybe came back into the Zoom room? Okay. So while we pause, does anybody have any questions? I see there's some math placement questions.
Yeah, Amelia, there was a question earlier about the math placement and who takes math and who takes chem and what's the impact and what if I don't place into even APM 103, what are my choices? So if you want to go back to that.
Sure. So I'll speak to the math placement. It's really there to be a resource for you to assess your math skills. We know that during COVID, maybe in high school or your transfer institution, you may have taken math, but maybe your math skills are feeling a little shaky. The math placement is a good tool to kind of assess where you're at, and then you can, your scores will be assessed by the director of the math center. And then after that, it will be evaluated what course you will go into for math. If you are concerned, you can always talk to your academic advisor, but they really don't want to put students in a math that's going to be too high level for them, because we want to set students up for a successful experience. And you really don't want to be struggling too much in a class. So if you have other credits that you're transferring in, there is an exemption process right now, so you can email me directly for information on how to do that. So that will also be evaluated by the director of the math center. One thing to note, please don't go to the SU math placement. That is not what we're doing this year. You should have also gotten an email directly from Qualtrics or myself to explain that process. I see that Tyler has now entered the room, so I am going to once again turn it over to Tyler.
Thanks. Is this sounding any better? Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Well, greetings again. So the Writing, Rhetoric, and Communications program is a part of the Division of Interdisciplinary Programs at ESF. So writing and math are kind of working together to offer the essential core classes that freshmen and sophomores take. But we also have a wide variety of other courses that we teach and incredible offerings in that kind of realm. As part of the Division of Interdisciplinary Programs, we offer 5 different student-focused centers. So these, as you can see, are listed here: the Writing Resource Center, ESOL, the Public Speaking Lab, and the Digital Storytelling Studio. And the Math Center is also included in that. Each of these offerings are located in the basement of Moon Library. So as Amelia mentioned, it's really kind of convenient to hang out down in that space and to enter those spaces early on in your experience, because not only are we there to help you one-on-one with very specific things, but if you open up a relationship with some of the tutors, it just benefits in the long run of you being able to have good conversations about the work you care about and are doing, and to be a part of a very inclusive space. So you can check out some of these things there. In addition, the writing program has an environmental writing minor. So for those of you who are interested in things related to the humanities and to finding a way to kind of articulate the work you're doing in the sciences in a more artistic way, we offer amazing courses in environmental literature, creative nonfiction, the art of storytelling, all of these things. And we also have Unearthed, which is a literary and arts magazine, which I would encourage people to check out, which features student writing, student photography, but also writing from around the world. And we're excited about that possibility. I can easily say that I'm entering my 5th year teaching at ESF, and it's just a remarkable place in terms of celebrating the fact that, science isn't the only wonderful thing that is done, that we're a very interdisciplinary space and people are working on collaborative and creative things all of the time. So I'll switch to the next page and tell everyone a little bit about the Writing Resource Center, which is coordinated by Jacob Gadetsis, who started last year, and Jacob is just a phenomenal addition to ESF. Jacob has worked very closely each year to kind of curate student tutors, and anyone can become a writing tutor after their first semester if they're interested in taking a really tightly knit course in which you learn the pedagogy behind tutoring, and then you become someone who is face to face with other students. So they have walk-in appointments. You can schedule recurring appointments. You can schedule ahead of time when you have a big essay coming up or a lab report. And in addition, they offer numerous different kind of workshops throughout the semester. So there are our first generation run workshops. There are workshops that collaborate with ESOL on students whose first language is not English. And if students just want to hang out in groups, and there's a poetry club, a storytelling club, all of these spaces are kind of new and vibrant and very much a part of the ESF experience. So I would encourage anyone to take it upon themselves to make an appointment early on, even if you feel as though you are a great writer. I feel like you can grow even more if you have this kind of resource at your hand. And I'll scoot into the next slide, and I think perhaps so the English Speaker for Other Languages Center, ESOL, is run by Dr. Nino Jakaya, and it's also assisted by Jenny Hoke. Both Nino and Jenny teach in the Writing, Rhetoric, and Communications program. They teach the 190 course, which many of you might be enrolled in. And they also teach some of the higher level courses in graduate scholarly writing and technical writing. So there's a lot of opportunity for, even if English is your first language, for conversations to happen between those whose it is not, and to kind of gather in a space where you're just celebrating some of the diversity in terms of language and in rhetoric and linguistics that happen. So that space is also open and available for walk-ins and appointments, and located in Moon Library. So if you're not too careful, you can spend the whole day down in Moon Library just walking to and fro these wonderful spaces. I'll move on to the next slide, and I believe here we go. Yeah, Digital Storytelling Studio. So this is a very, I still say it's kind of a new offering at ESF. So in the basement of Moon, you have the opportunity to kind of enter a space where you can learn from the very beginning how to make podcasts, how to become a better photographer, how to make short films, and many of these offerings. And I kind of want to turn it over to my colleague, Jason Kolbrenner, who is just a wonderful storyteller and filmmaker who we brought on this past year. We offer courses, digital storytelling, and we're hoping to move to a space in which we offer advanced courses for those of you who are really interested in making stories happen. As you might know, the space of STEM is constantly in need of clear articulations of the work that is being done, and ESF is quite the marvel in terms of that. And I'll leave it in the chat. One of the things that we do at the Storytelling Studio is we help produce President Joni Mahoney's podcast called Campus Conversations, and each semester there are 6 different episodes and the theme changes. So this last year we had a focus on research, and you can really listen to these masters in the field at ESF kind of talk in depth about the work they're doing. And Jason, do you want to kind of add to what the day-to-day is like in the space and the things we do?
Yeah, this Digital Storytelling Studio really is a nice fluid place where students are coming in for work that they have assignments for, but also work related to, or just creative interests that they have related to clubs that they have, or events that are going on. We had recently a woman who she was approached by NPR Science Friday because she does great work pinning insects and displaying them. And she did a whole display. We got her a couple of GoPros set up and worked to just achieve that live on-air broadcast with her. And we had some students go on a whale watch, and they took a couple of GoPros and captured their whole experience there. Our doors are always open, just like every other door on that basement of Moon. And we welcome you all to come and stop by and say hi.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Christina Sirik, and I'm the coordinator for the Public Speaking Lab, which is one of the other resource centers. And we are also located right down in basement of Moon. We're actually kind of right in with the Writing Resource Center. So when you walk into the Writing Resource Center, there's another little office kind of in the back, and that's where the Public Speaking Lab is located. And it's a wonderful resource for students to be able to have some peer-to-peer tutoring online in regards to, dealing with preparing presentations and speeches for whatever classes or whatever type of, maybe if they're involved in a student group on campus. We help out with any type of presentation skills. It's a great way to get help also for any point in the process of creating your speeches. So sometimes some students may just come in for some brainstorming help, whereas other students are coming in purely they want to get feedback on the way that they are using their delivery skills. So it can be from the very beginning of the process, it can go all the way through, or it can be just all the way till the end. It's completely up to you. We have wonderful peer tutors that are in there for you. and they will be able to provide plentiful feedback as you work on your speeches and show them, how your delivery skills are working. And it's great because we have a camera set up in the public speaking lab, so we can record you, or you can actually just use your phones. I think as the years have gone by, more students tend to use their phones. They'll record on the phone, and then you have that recording and you can kind of go through with the peer tutor exactly, what things you can work on, how you can change things, or what it was that actually went well. So it's really a great resource. And I know that public speaking is one of the courses that I think pretty much most of the majors have to take. So I really encourage students to use this resource on campus, because every student that's gone always comes back saying, I feel so much better when giving a presentation now because I went to the public speaking lab for some assistance. And as you can see, it's very easy to schedule appointments. We're also housed in where all the tutoring is for academic success. It's the esf.mywconline.com. And then we also have obviously our regular website there, which will have kind of a breakdown of the public speaking lab with our different tutors, little background info on them. And there's a couple podcasts up there and things to check out as well. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. My office is right in the academic success suite. So I'm just a couple doors down from the actual public speaking lab. And welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm now going to pass it over to our colleague across the street, Christina Papaleo, who's going to talk about Syracuse University Center for Disability Resources.
Hi again, everyone. Again, my name is Christina Papaleo. I am here tonight on behalf of Bethany Heaton Crawford, who will be the liaison for ESF. So Beth, she's also the associate director for CDR and has a wealth of knowledge and has worked really closely with ESF. So there is a likelihood that your student will be, or if you are a student, you'll be working with Beth or any one of the access coordinators. So our office is located on SU's campus, right across from the Sheridan Hotel. And we provide accommodations for ESF and SU students for the classroom. So our approach is a little bit different than other disability services offices at other institutions, where we see disability or define disability as a barrier in the environment and not the individual. Taking this social justice model approach of disability as part of human diversity and not a medical diagnosis. So that might be a little bit different because coming from the K through 12 system, typically that's how disability is perceived. But we really want to help students become self-advocates as they navigate barriers in their in the college environment. So the very first step to get connected with us is to register with our office. I will include our link in the chat for you. One moment. So we have a registration form. Everything that we do is online, which is very convenient. So once students are registered with us, they will have an access plan created with an access coordinator. And this will include an accommodation letter that will get sent to faculty and to the student, as well as discussing other resources that might be available through ESF. So we only focus on academic accommodations, and everything else would be through ESF. But we would help students navigate those resources, guide them in their transition. And this is very much an ongoing process as well. So it's not a one-time meeting. Students can meet with us as often as they need to, because we know that semesters often change and schedules change, and students' needs might change as well. So it's very individualized based on the student. So if you have any other questions, I know there was a question on testing accommodations earlier. So we do have a testing center for just students registered with our office. So it is a minimally distracting environment. Students with testing accommodations for extended time would come to take their exam with us, and we work with the faculty to get those exams. So I think that's the only slide on this for CDR, but if you have any questions for me that I could possibly answer. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, so we develop, we work closely with faculty. So Beth knows the ESF faculty fairly well. So if there are concerns from faculty, oftentimes parents might ask, or students, how are faculty in terms of accommodations for students? And what we do is we make sure that each request for an accommodation is reasonable and it doesn't fundamentally alter the learning outcomes of the course. Since a lot of the classes and courses through ESF are experiential, we want to make sure that a student has access, but also will complete the learning outcomes needed, because our goal is equity and our goal is access, but we cannot guarantee success. You can also choose to meet with an access coordinator regularly, especially as an incoming student. If you're needing more support, we can certainly work with you in that regard. We offer a bunch of other, we offer other services as well, in addition to academic accommodations. So we have note-taking assistance. So we have assistive technology and apps. We have a coordinator designated with a wealth of information on how students can effectively take notes in class, especially with lectures. Or if they want to use the computer, there are apps available now for students to be able to take notes and record the lectures. Alternate format, so that is providing electronic accessible documents for students who might use screen reading technology, or there is a tool also called Read and Write, which is a text-to-speech tool that students can use. And then exam services, as I mentioned previously. So that's overview, CDR, brief overview of CDR. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Our address is right there on that page. We also have an Instagram account. So feel free to follow us on Instagram. We're trying to utilize social media to engage our students as well as parents and family members. And the tiles to the right of that slide is what the disability student portal would look like through My Slice. So the student, so if you're a student, you would access your student portal, and this is the hub, I like to call it, for everything related to CDR. So this is where you would access your accommodation letter. It will also be emailed to you through your SYR email, so just keep that in mind. You will renew your accommodation letter each semester. If you are approved for testing accommodations, this is where you would sign up to take your exams, because we want to make sure that we have the space for you. And then other resources as well, including scheduling appointments with your access coordinator. There might be one more slide.
No, I think you actually covered it all. Thank you so much for all of that information. If you do have any questions about accommodations, the CDR is a fantastic resource. Bethany is fantastic, but thank you so much for being with our community tonight. So we appreciate your time. So now I'm actually going to pass it over to our academic advisors, and we've got a couple of them on the call. But the first one up is going to be Erin Ticelli. So I apologize. I think the title on this slide is incorrect, but the information is about academic advising.
Oh, okay. Yes, this title is incorrect. Hi, friends. So although this could be related to some of the CDR work that you're doing, reach out to your coordinator, but also reach out to your advisor. This feels like it might be a little bit out of order in our presentation as well. So hi again. I am one of the professional academic advisors on campus. Throughout our campus, we do have a shared advising model in some departments and an all faculty advising model in others. So in environmental forest biology, you've met Kit. Kit is on the call still, and Terrence took off a little while ago. They advise EB. We have an open academy advisor for our online sustainability management program. As I said, I advise environmental studies and landscape architecture, and we also have an environmental science professional advisor. Everyone else is going to be working with a faculty member throughout their career. And for the professional advisors, we generally work just with folks in their first 2 years accepting those online students who are in their last 2 years of a program. So it's really important to establish a strong relationship with your advisor because they are a person who can connect you with resources that you might not know exist. So if you've come to this session and you forget all of the things that we say, go to your advisor because they know who to put you in touch with to get you connected to the right resources. So questions to your advisor are really important when you're not sure where to go. So you can expect to meet with your advisor typically like 3 times a semester at the beginning, maybe a check-in in the middle, and then towards the end of the semester for registration for the next semester. Your advisor should hopefully remind you about any important academic deadlines that might be coming up, add deadlines. You can't, add a class after a certain date. You can't drop a class after a certain date, things like that, that they will be sending you information about. And we do communicate through your SU email. So your SU email is really important to keep an eye on. And advising relationships are a two-way street. So if you only come to see your advisor once a semester, that's not developing a really strong relationship with that person. And you may need that person to help you along the way. So it's good to touch in with them more frequently than just at registration time or when there's, an emergency. So part of developing that relationship is being prepared for your meetings. Bring your data. So we've talked a little bit throughout this session about AP scores, for example. Now, your advisor might not have your AP scores right away. So if you say that you have an AP score for global environment and environmental science, we might not be able to see that record yet, but if you can bring us that information, we see that there's a problem in your schedule, we can work with you on that. So bring your data, and that might mean AP scores and transfer credit at the beginning, but it also might mean bring your data, be prepared for what classes you want to take. We don't want to dictate to folks what they should be doing. We want to have a conversation about what you want to be doing. And there are curricular outcomes that we need to do, but we want you to bring yourself into that space and advocate for yourself. Advising comes in many forms, and in that regard, I kind of already talked about that in terms of shared advising, but the other thing is advisors don't always have to be your assigned advisors. You can get advice from any of your faculty. You can work with different faculty members or peer advisors within your program to help establish relationships throughout your career and in different forms. So the other thing that we also like to stress is reflection, which kind of gets back to that, not dictating to you, but working with you to develop your curriculum plan. So think about what drives you and what you're interested in when you come into that advising space so that we can help guide you towards the right choices for your career, your academic and future career, along with some opportunities that we might be able to connect you with outside of the classroom. So dancing in between slides here. So as I started off with, your advisor can help connect you to academic resources and some of the folks that we've heard from already today. Other folks that aren't here today, like Office of International Education, if you're interested in studying abroad, those folks are really helpful resources, career services, counseling services, and other student support services, as well as those administrative resources that we've heard a bit about already today, and some other folks that you'll hear more about in other information sessions, financial aid bursar folks. So again, your advisor can help connect those points for you. And our last slide. These are just some things that we like to draw attention to that each classroom is going to be different, and it will, as we like to put this in ecological terms, it's its own ecosystem, right? So you'll have to learn to adapt as you move through your courses, and your bio course is going to be different from your writing course, which is going to be different from your public speaking course, and so on. So be prepared to adapt as you move through your schedule. You want to be sure that you are paying attention and you're reaching out to resources as early as you can. There are things like career fairs or study abroad fairs or other types of opportunities that you'll want to be in touch with or connect with. And interacting with your peers within the classroom, your peers are going to be a great resource to you. We have an academic success center that has great tutoring options, but sometimes the person sitting next to you is a great study buddy. So making connections within your classroom and finding ways to support each other is another really great way to connect. Be sure that you do speak out, ask for help when you need it, before you need it. You know, anticipate those things so that you can be visible to the folks that can help you. And another really important thing to keep in mind, office hours is maybe not something that you're familiar with at this stage, but office hours are when a faculty or a TA or advisor is available to talk to you about any and everything related to your class, related to your career track, related to you know, future choices in classes. So make sure that you do make yourself visible in those spaces, and again, the more you connect with folks, the better you'll be, because those one-on-one connections you really can't trade for anything. So be sure that you do make those connecting points throughout the semester as often as you can. And yeah, that I think is all we have on the advising end.
Thank you, Erin. I wanted to also pass it over to Dr. Neil Abrams to just share some of his thoughts as well, and then kind of open it up to any of our other panelists who have some final words or comments.
Great, thank you, Amelia. And I just really wanted to follow up on Erin's great introduction to kind of some of the trends in the classroom. Erin was mentioning, you know, that each class is going to be a little bit different. And part of that is, you know, there may be a large 150 student lecture class with me, but there may actually also be a 10 student orientation course or a smaller writing course. And so each one has its own feel, its own way of engaging with the class. So something to keep in mind about how you enter each of these spaces. Also keeping an eye out for updates. We do use Blackboard as a way to communicate. That's a learning management system. Might have used Moodle, or even there's other ones out there. Fact2 oftentimes post emails through there. Some may use other tools and resources. So just being aware of how to get in contact with an instructor is really super important. So you can do that early on. And there is no such thing as too early. So I like to think if someone knows that they have a commitment in late November, you know, let me know as early as possible. As an instructor, we really appreciate that, so we can think about how to make the course work for everyone. Interacting with your peers, of course, and asking questions. Really importantly, these things that we call office hours, I have kind of renamed them for my own course. I call them student hours because they're not for me to be in my office, they're for students to come to it. And sometimes the vision I have of office hours is like that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where Charlie comes in and meets Willy Wonka, and you sit in his office with the clock ticking and doesn't want to be disturbed. That's not what office hours are. They're really meant for someone to come in and have a conversation, one-on-one with friends, whatever works out the best way. But it's a place to get some extra help and resources because we're there for you to be successful in the class. Also, I'll mention as first year classes, there are a number of classes that students do take together. There's a common trio of, say, biology, chemistry, and writing, or biology, writing, and an orientation course. So whatever it is, just recognize that you're going to be with peers, with friends to be able to talk to, as well as that we have the shared experience together. So we are in this with you as part of this ESF first year class.
Awesome, thank you. All right. So I wanted to just take some time again to thank all of our amazing panelists for being here with us tonight. And thank you everybody on the call for kind of participating and asking questions. Just because, this is a 45 to 50-minute session, you would definitely have other questions and we are available to answer them for you. So please definitely don't hesitate to reach out. We will have 2 other upcoming engagement sessions. Some of you asked about the orientation schedule. That will be forthcoming. Our next one will be actually next Tuesday on student mental health and wellness. So a little bit of an outline of all the different services that are available to you. And then kind of approaching our August deadline. Can't believe you're going to be here on campus before you know it. But we're really excited to share some of the really cool programming opportunities and places for you to kind of enhance your social experience. So those are upcoming, so definitely save the date and register. So at this point, we turn it over to the audience and see if anybody has any other questions that we could answer. If not, you know where to find us. I will also put my email in the chat, so you can feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you.